Calendimaggio, the May Day festival, is an enormous pageant held in Assisi on the 1st of May to celebrate the arrival of spring. A fortnight of cultural events and traditional activities is a colourful prelude to the May Day festivities. The Piazza del Comune serves as the stage for many of the performances, including an exhibition by the talented Sbandieratori, the flag throwers of Assisi, who have competed in the national titles with some distinction. Though the first flags were probably carried by ancient Egyptian soldiers, the tradition of the Sbandieratori dates back to the Middle Ages, when they were used by the military as a means of communication. This flag language is rather sophisticated and requires a degree of skill and flair. The pageantry and showmanship of today was a result of the wide range of movements needed to communicate messages. There's a highly competitive spirit among the many different provincial and regional groups of Sbandieratori in Umbria and Tuscany. The Medioevo restaurant in Assisi prepares a tasty antipasto that might simply be called pâté. But the locals have given it the rather more flamboyant name crostini di fegato di anatra, duck liver croutons. Garlic, onion, celery, one slice of carrot, rosemary and sage are gently fried in extra virgin olive oil from the Umbrian hills. Pancetta and salt and pepper are added to taste. After a few minutes, the duck livers are added with a little more oil, salt and pepper. Finally, half a glass of white wine is added. Cook for about 45 minutes at a moderate heat. Then the ingredients go into a blender or food processor. Anchovies, capers and a little butter are added to the mixture. The pâté is now almost ready. A little lemon juice is added to finish. The pâté is spread evenly onto lightly toasted rounds of bread and cut into crostini or wedge-shaped croutons. To heighten the aroma of the pâté, it's important that the crostini are served hot. Of kings. Many ancient handicrafts still flourish in this region, safe in the hands of skilled artisans who work copper, wrought iron and wood. The ceramics and pottery of Umbria in particular have gained international recognition. They're created with outstanding artistry and incredible technique. Deruta, Gubbio, Orvieto, Assisi, Città del Castello, Todi and Perugia are all active centres, and each has its own distinctive style. The history of ceramics in this region dates back to the medieval period. The use of luster pigment in ceramics was introduced in Gubbio and Deruta in the 14th century and led on to maiolica, tin-glazed pottery and Italian art ceramics as we know them today. In recognition of the high quality of Umbrian ceramics, Cesare Borgia established one of the earliest factories in Italy at Deruta. It's still active today. In more recent times, to foster the traditions of Umbrian pottery and ceramics, the region has established a special school for potters. l'Istituto Statale d'Arte per la Ceramica. Like the colourful ceramics of the region, the Institute's courses and the artisans it produces are regarded as among the best in Italy. Italian art takes many forms, not least of which are cooking and the Italian. In the 14th century, Assisi was the site of a long and bloody feud between the upper and lower parts of the town. At the time, the Nepi and Fiumi families were the leaders of the two warring factions. The feuding went on unchecked for more than 200 years and created such a deep rift in the community that towards the middle of the 16th century, the papal governor reorganized the town into 3 districts. In time, the hatred slowly gave way to harmless rivalry. Today, the traditional feud has developed into a bloodless combat between the rival sections of the town. Their former hatreds forgotten, they compete in a series of medieval games as part of the Calendimaggio festivities. The outcome of the games determines which of the lovely damsels will be proclaimed Madonna Primavera, the festival queen. Contests include archery and a crossbow competition. On the final evening in the Piazza del Comune, choirs representing the 2 different sections of the town compete before a large and appreciative crowd. In one of the many winding streets near the center of Assisi is the Medievo, a traditional restaurant established by a family whose ancestry dates back to the time of St. Francis. The traditional dish of Umbria is porchetta, that is, pig or piglet. Though duck, known as anatra, is also very popular. Anatra in porchetta is a favorite recipe in Assisi. Seeds of wild fennel flavor this dish. They're also used extensively in the preparation of porchetta. Other ingredients include pancetta or bacon, garlic, salt, pepper and extra virgin olive oil from the Umbrian hills. Three medium to large ducks will need to be prepared. The pancetta, garlic and fennel seeds are seasoned with salt and pepper and mixed together to form a light seasoning. The duck's cavities are filled with this mixture and a sprig of wild fennel is added. With a pointed knife, a series of incisions are made in the breast and thighs of the bird, and a small amount of seasoning is inserted into the pockets. Salt and pepper are added next. A little oil is poured over the birds, and they go into the oven at a medium to high temperature for about an hour and 45 minutes. About halfway through the cooking, a little wine is added. The cooked ducks are cut into sections and garnished with lemon, sage, and 1 or 2 leaves of rucola or rocket. Anatra in porchetta, ready to serve. Buon appetito! The Basilica of St. Francis is the spiritual heart of Assisi, and it's here that the remains of the saint rest in a dedicated chapel. Built in its present form in the 13th century, the basilica was decorated by the greatest painters of the 13th and 14th centuries: Cimabue, Giotto, the Lorenzetti brothers, and Simone Martini. The vault and interior walls are adorned with 26 Giotto frescoes, which illustrate moments from the life of St. Francis. The most famous of these depict St. Francis preaching to the birds. The basilica is regarded as the greatest monument to Italian art, as it was here that the Sienese and Roman schools were fused in the 13th century, creating a starting point for the revival of Italian painting. The Franciscan spirit of simplicity seems to pervade all of Umbria. Tranquil and unspoiled, the town of Assisi is an oasis where man and nature still live in peace and harmony.